Hi, I'm Stuart. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is the first time viewing one of my videos, welcome back if you watched any of my previous videos. In both cases, thanks for viewing this video. In this video, I'm going to do the end of year book tag. I was tagged in videos by Pat at Book Chat with Pat 8668 and Gavin at Genre Books 23. Thanks to both of you for tagging me. I'm just going to repeat what they said to properly credit the creator of this video. The end of the year book tag was created some years ago by Ariel Bassett. So thanks to Ariel Bassett for creating this tag. There are 7 questions in this tag. Question 1 is, there any books you started this year that you need to finish? There's quite a few. I'm going to bring up my story graph and take a look and decide which ones I'd really like to finish that I've started earlier this year. I just started The Enlightenment, The Pursuit of Happiness, 1680 to 1790 by Richie Robertson. Not sure I'm going to finish that this year because it's a little over 1,000 pages, but I like to make some fair headway in it. I'm currently reading The Christmas Tree Farm by Laurie Gilmore. I'm going to finish that. I'll probably finish in the next day or two. I'm about 75% through the book. I'm reading The Complete Tales of H.P. Lovecraft. Doubtful I'll finish that one this year. It's a series of short stories, one novella. So it's not something that I need to have any specific deadline for finishing it. I just shouldn't let any of the short stories sit partly read for very long. Book I'm definitely going to finish this year that I'm currently reading is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. That's part of the I'm With a Band book club. Moderate by MJ, Reading This Life at MJ on here. So that is the December book, so I definitely am going to finish that book this month so I can complete it in the time frame that is set up for the book club. I not too long ago started The Will of the Many by James Islington. This is a long one. Hopefully I can finish this one this year. It's about 600 pages, but I'd like to finish this one this year. One I definitely should finish, I got to get back to, is The Haunted House from Hell by Mark Lestrange. I'm 68% through, so I don't have that much left. So I'll definitely finish that one this year. One I hopefully finish too that I've kind of got away from with all these other books is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I'd like to finish that one by the end of the year. An audiobook I'm listening to, Ruin Song by Julia Ember. 36% through. It'd be nice if I finished that one by the end of the year. Book I put aside a little while back, but I'd like to get back to is Girls Like Girls by Haley Kiyoko. Kind of iffy on it, but I would like to finish it by the end of the year. Another one I'd like to finish this year is Briardark by S.A. Harian. I stopped reading that book a while back. I'm about 57% through, so I'd like to finish that book. Even as I say this, I'm saying a lot of books that I've partly read, and there is one that I'm mentioning a lot of books that I've partly read. It seems too long a list probably to complete all these books, so realistically I probably won't. But ideally I would like to complete all these books by the end of the year. One book I haven't started yet, I'm definitely going to complete by the end of the year, is Nosferatu by Joe Hill. That's for another book club. The Fright Club, created and moderated by Cliff at Cliff's Dark Gems and Kritz at Kritz_reads. So that's another one I'm going to make every effort to finish by the end of the year. The book club books take a priority for me above other books, but I would like to finish as many of these other books as I can. Question 2 is, do you have an autumn book to transition into the end of the year? I don't tend to read by the season. In October, and in this year it went into early November, mid-November, perhaps. I did take part in the Spooky Scary Skeleton Halloween Readathon by Nicole at Nicole's Bookish Nook. And because of that, I did read a lot of horror books and books that met prompts she had for her readathon. So, but normally I don't read books for the season. Even like Christmas books, I haven't really read all that many Christmas books. But I guess maybe the one book I say maybe would ease me into the season is All Hallows by Christopher Golden. That was set on Halloween Eve, so perhaps that could be considered that. And I'm currently reading The Christmas Tree Farm by Laurie Gilmore, and that's, as the title suggests, it's about a Christmas tree farm, and it's actually a romance, but it's the backdrop of the woman in the backdrop is the heroine in the story, without really investigating, but a defunct Christmas tree farm is trying to bring it back to life and make it profitable. So I guess that's Between All Hallows, a Halloween book, which is mid-fall, and The Christmas Tree Farm, which is a Christmas book, a romance, but set at Christmas time in a small New England town. Perhaps between those two books, perhaps they satisfy this prompt. The third question, is there a new release you're still waiting for? There's not really any book that has already been released that I'm waiting for. I am trying to take part in the Read What You Own challenge, which is a challenge created by Reading This Life at M-J. So I haven't so far, and we're not too far into it, based on my past history, that I wouldn't be surprised if I crack at some point. But so there's no book like right now that is on my radar that I'm going to get. I did pre-order Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. That comes out the end of January. I mean, it's not a new book per this prompt. It is a book that's coming out soon. There's a book called The Striker by Anna Wong that I could have sworn I pre-ordered. But I checked and it's released now. And if I did pre-order it, I probably got it. But if so, I didn't put it on my Storygraph. So if I didn't get that book, I would like to get it at some point. It was released in October. It's a football romance. Football, as most of the world calls football, not what we call football in the U.S. There's another book I just learned of recently that I do want to read at some point fairly soon. It's called The Violent Take It by Force by Matthew D. Taylor. It's a book I learned about in a recent video by Hannah's Books. So that's one I would like to read. I'm not sure how recent that book is, though. I only know of it from her video. So those are a few books, but I've kind of gotten away from looking on the, say, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Bookshop.org, looking on those sites. And so although I watch a zillion Booktuber videos, there's not really books that have been released besides the ones that I mentioned that I would like to read at some point in the not distant future. Won't be by the end of the year, most likely, though. That's doubtful. Could be, but it's doubtful. With all the other books that I said, I want to hopefully finish as many of them as possible by the end of the year. The question 4 is, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? Well, as far as books I've yet to start, because this is kind of overlapped, I think, with the what books you want to finish by the end of the year, but Nosferatu by Joe Hill is one that I haven't started yet that I want to start and finish by the end of the year. Other than that, I'm not really going to reach my reading goals for the year as far as books completed, but to kind of get a little closer in the latter part of the year, I do have 3 Goosebumps books that I might read, short books, and I do have them, so it's not trying to force my goals. So I don't remember the specific titles of them, but there are 3 Goosebump books that I probably will try to finish by the end of the year, just to like make my numbers a little better. And it's not like I don't want to read them. Like I said, I do have the books. The fifth question is there a book you think would still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? There's only one book that I think might possibly become my favorite if I do complete it, and that's The Will of the Many by James Islington. And I'm not saying this because of the amount I read, although I've enjoyed it a lot, just because it's a really highly considered book. A lot of people like it. So it's possible that it could become my favorite book of the year. It's going to be tough, though, because there's a lot of books I really liked. I might like Nosferatu by Joe Hill a lot, but I'm not thinking that it's going to be a contender for my favorite book of the year, which is kind of funny saying it because I haven't even started it yet, but not sure it would be. So really, the only one really potentially for that is The Will of the Many. I don't expect to really, with the exception of the Goosebump books, I don't really expect to start many other books this year. But actually, I take that back. I would really like to, for a long time I've been wanting to read Bride by Ali Hazelwood and Bunny by Mona Awad. Those books might be contenders for favorite of the year. Bunny is a book that is widely diverse opinions. Some people don't like it, some people think it's great. So maybe one of those two. Those two I would like to start and read by the end of the year. But as you can see by all the books I like to read and talking about those two books too, it's kind of unlikely I'm going to achieve everything that I'm talking about in this video. As much as I like Iron Flame and Court of Mist and Fury, I don't think those books could ever be favorites of the year, like just top favorites, because, as I said, I really enjoy them, but they do have their shortcomings too, so they would probably fall a little short of my favorites of the year, although could definitely be top 10 books, maybe just not favorite books. Question 6 is, have you already started making reading plans for next year? I've kind of learned this year that I don't do very well with TBRs, especially short-term ones, but even longer-term ones. So I really don't expect to do any readathons, at least certainly not beyond maybe reading a book or two in the category, certainly not reading a bunch of books. That just doesn't work for me, and doing a bunch of readathons. Right now there's 3 active book clubs I'm taking part in, and I will continue doing those book clubs as long as they exist, and those 3 seem to be going strong. There is a 4th that may have reached its limit, I'm not sure. There hasn't been an active December book, so there might not be in that book club, but the other 3 are really active, and so I'm definitely going to read those book clubs, but that's 3 books per month, which to me that's probably kind of my upper limit of what I want it to be kind of tied into as a person who's very much an emotional mood reader. The Spooky Scary Skeleton Halloween Readathon by Nicole at Nicole's Bookish Nook, which I mentioned earlier. If Nicole does it again, that one I will take part in. That went really well for me. Other things like I had a series of books I came up with for AAPI Heritage Month, and I read some of them, but not all of them. And I didn't do well. I read a couple of books for Historathon, the first and second quarter, but I'm just now starting the third quarter books, so that's probably, I'm not going to, I guess what I'm saying is I'm really not going to commit to any extensive reading and any readathons beyond Nicole's if she does it, because it just doesn't work for me. I feel too kind of constricted with already the 3 book clubs, which I do enjoy, and I'm going to make those a priority. Those I want to continue. But readathons just don't work for me, with the exception of the Halloween one. That worked well for me. So I guess that's plans that I'm not going to do. And the other thing that I'm going to back a little off on is My goal for books for this year was 90, and I'm currently at 70, so considering I think my high month was, I think, 9 for any month in the past 2.5 years since I started on Storygraph, 2.5 coming on 3 years. Reading 20 books in the remaining 20 days or 21 days I have this month, that's not going to happen. So I'm not sure what I'm going to set my goals for, but it's not going to be 90. It's going to back off. It's going to be, I don't know if I set something really easily achievable like 52 or maybe say 70, because I did 78 last year and I'm 70 now. So I don't stress about that goal, but I'm just not going to set a goal that is too much of a stretch for me. I guess what I'm saying is my goals for 2025 are that I'm not going to have very many specific goals. I'm not going to make reading like book totals, and I do page counts too, but the book totals are the ones that I really care about. I'm not going to make really stretch goals for that. As I said, I don't stress about it, but I don't like making a goal that's just probably not going to achieve. I haven't set the number yet, but as I said, it won't be 90. Might be 75, but it won't be 90. And I guess my goal is maybe to get back doing getting back to do the mood emotional reading, which I've gotten away from a little bit, and that's kind of I don't know, produce a little anxiety in me. So I'm going to get more back into that. Doesn't mean I won't read nonfiction books. Doesn't mean I won't read historical books. I will, but it just won't be really so much in a readathon. And I will freely admit, a lot of these readathons, the requirements are very, very generous. They don't tie you in. It's just me. It's just kind of, I get anxious when I say I'm going to do something and I don't, so I'm just not going to say that anymore. It's going to be unofficial beyond the book clubs and the Halloween readathon. The question 7 is tag others. First, if you're viewing this video, please consider yourself tagged. If you'd like to do a video with one or more of the questions, please do so. Tag me. If you'd like to answer one or more of the questions in my comments, please do so too. I'd be interested in your answers. But I am going to specifically tag a group of people. People I'm tagging are Nigel at readingideas-uz9xk, Janet at Disquiet and Dragons-LH3ZM, Suey at Suey's Book Banter, Nix at Nix Reads, Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, Phillip Hall at A Poet Reads to Write, Smiti at A Book Smitten, Kayla V at Reading with Kayla V, Justin at Trumpful Reads, Milena at Milena Milano 8833, Fred at Read by Fred, Roy at Roy Reads Anything, Cliff at Cliff's Dark Gems, Reney at Beyond Books, Nicole at Nicole's Bookish Nook, Jen at Literary Love 123, Flossy at the Grape Jelly Library, Maeve at Maeve_ever_books, I at ilie.02. As always, only if you'd like to do it if it's something you're interested in. All these tags make me think, which I like, so I enjoy doing them. And I enjoy reading other people's answers to these tags too. I hope you're having a great reading week. I hope you're having a great week in general. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, please subscribe, please hit the bell to get notified when I upload future videos.